Yeah, bright. That is what it is. It is not hot out here. What's going on? It's James, not Freebie. And, yeah, we're back. Now, I know that if you are a avid college football watcher, as I am, you understood that there was a handful of games last night, tonight, tomorrow night. It's that time of year. I am still committing to, mentally, there's things out of my control, and honestly, it's just easier for me to continue doing this and posting on a Wednesday. We did have games last night, but those will be reviewed next week with the set of 14. This week, week 7, the one that we're covering, was a very fun week. There was a lot of disappointment, but there was a lot of good storylines to go and really grasp onto. So we're going to start with the first game that started. I believe this was a Wednesday game, because this last week, yesterday, as of the posting of this video, would be the first actual Tuesday games, and they were mostly USA games. The first game of last week, which was on Wednesday, it would be Missouri State visiting Middle Tennessee State. Missouri State, feisty as always, came out with a win, 22-20. It was pretty much 16-13 and a half with a 3-point lead for Missouri State. Missouri State really they held out there, and they really just needed a touchdown to really get them out. And late in the fourth, they scored that touchdown and held Middle Tennessee to 2 field goals in the second half. You know, we look at the stats for Middle Tennessee. Nicholas Vatio, 30-42, 267, and 2 touchdowns. Jacob Middlebrook, 17 carries, 93 yards. Cameron Lacey, 6 receptions, 114 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Hunter Tipton, 7 carries, 7 receptions, 54 yards. And Miles Butler, 3 receptions, 37 yards. Missouri State's Deuce Bailey, 16-31, 278 yards, no touchdowns through the air, but 1 through the ground. He had another dual threat quarterback action there. Shamari Lawrence, 11 carries, 63 yards. Ramon Green Jr., 1 reception, 76 yards. Tristan Gardner, 3 receptions, 70 yards. And Dash Luke, 5 receptions, 69 yards, and a touchdown. Oh, yeah, I meant for Deuce Bailey to have 1 touchdown. Did not mean no touchdowns. I marked it up weird. Regardless, it was a very fun game. Very close game, and it really it really didn't. I ain't gonna lie, it really didn't set what the weekend was gonna look like. It really just set how the weekdays were gonna be set. It was gonna be a really competitive weekday set. Alright, next game. We have UTEP and Liberty, and I did not mark down the score for some reason, but I can do math. It was 19-8. Actually, I knew that one off the top of my head. I didn't need to math that one out. Liberty showed up, kicked ass, and UTEP tried to make a late comeback, but usually when you're in the fourth quarter and making 2-point conversions and hoping that you might have an onside or a good defense stand, you're already probably too late in the hole, and you're probably responding way too late. And honestly, I'm going to give a little bit of a spoiler. Seeing what Liberty eventually went on to do, I mean, come on. Come on, man. Ethan Vasco, 19-33, 243 yards. 13 for 27 and a touchdown on the ground. Vaughn Blue, 18 for 79 on the ground. Caden Williams, 12 carries, 36 yards. Through the air, Julian Gray, 3 receptions, 63 yards. Jamari Pearson, 5 receptions, 52 yards. And then Jalen Coleman, 1 reception, 31 yards. Dante Lee Jr., 2 receptions, 28 yards. On the other side, UTEP, Skylar Locklear, 19 for 17, 90 yards, 2 interceptions. 8 carries, 58 yards, and touchdown. Malcolm Nelson was also a quarterback. More of a passing one, but not really a great one. 4-10 for 21 yards. There really wasn't a running back that was doing more than Skylar Locklear from what I was gathering through the stats. So Kenny Odom, 3 receptions, 53 yards. Josh Schutz, 3 receptions, 18 yards. Wedom Jr., 2 receptions, 16 yards. And Judah Ezinwa, 2 receptions, 12 yards. And we move on to ECU going to Tulane, and a pretty fun matchup still. Tulane comes out victorious 26-19. Really, Tulane. It was all Tulane the entire game. The only time it became less of it was when they were down 19 to. Really going into the fourth, it was 16-12. So. Without the 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, Tulane would have been very stuck. Tulane, Jake Retzlaff, 26 of 36, 347 yards and 2 touchdowns. Javen Gordon, 10 carries, 34 yards. And while we're here, through the air, 5 receptions, 35 yards and a touchdown. Arnold Barnes, the third, 7 carries, 31 yards. Zachariah Lewis, 2 receptions, 75 yards and a touchdown. Trey Shacklefield, 4 receptions, 65 yards. Bryce Bohannon, 4 receptions, 45 yards. Anthony Brown-Stevens, 3 receptions, 36 yards. On the other side, King Hauser, 14 for 30, 180 yards, a touchdown, and a rushing touchdown. Marlon Gunn Jr., 10 carries, 52 yards. TJ Engelman Jr., 10 carries, 40 yards. Anthony Smith, 2 receptions, 54 yards. Parker Jenkins, 2 receptions, 38 yards. And Yannick Smith, 3 receptions, 32 yards. Like I said, Tulane really had a good control of this, and it was just a very consistent moving it up and down the field. And given the fact that Tulane got a former Big 12 quarterback and a relatively popular one and a very not terrible one in Retzlaff, it really shows. He has the dynamic ability to make that offense function. And really, it keeps Tulane squarely in the G5 playoff conversation as long as he continues to play like that. It's very much a Byron Brown where your quarterback is the best thing going for you. Next game, Southern Miss at what is this? Georgia Southern. Wow, Georgia Southern loses 35-38 in a hard-fought, very, very, very entertaining matchup for the week. Right before we enter into Saturday, you got this beauty of a game, really punching back and forth. I ain't gonna lie, when you're down 28-7, much like Georgia Southern was, I guess as a fan base, you remain confused. Are we going to come back? Scoring 4 and then going down 35 to that would be 35-21, and then keeping them to a field goal, and then scoring 2 more touchdowns of your own to just barely miss. I bet that was a walk-off field goal too. I'm not gonna say I bet. It was just a heartbreaking field goal regardless in the fourth. Georgia Southern, J.C. French the fourth, 24-43, 313 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. O.J. Arnold, 13 carries, 56 yards. David Mbinga, 8 carries, 28 yards, and a touchdown. Through the air, Camden Brown, 12 receptions, 158 yards, and a touchdown. Marcus Sanders Jr., 4 receptions, 70 yards, and a touchdown. Dalen Cobb, 4 receptions, 40 yards. Southern Miss, Braylon Braxton, 19-28, 237 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Jeffrey Pittman, 31 carries, 140 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Matt Jones, 4 carries, 29 yards, and a touchdown. Through the air, Elijah Metcalf, 4 receptions, 62 yards. Braylon Brown, 4 receptions, 55 yards. Tayshawn Chapman, 4 receptions, 52 yards, and a touchdown. And Carl Chester, 2 receptions, 43 yards, and a touchdown. All right. Now, the game that everybody thought was going to be the game of the week days, and one that I thought was going to be far, far closer. University of South Florida going to the University of North Texas. North Texas, at this point, we're 5-0 undefeated. The G5 school, which I was very excited to see whether they could continue Apologies. Continue their run. University of South Florida had been coming off of a rebound game after a loss to Miami. They really needed another get-right game to really flex their muscles and prove to everybody, that they were meaning business. It was tied at half, 21-21. And it looked like exactly the game you wanted out of it. A shootout. We'll see who goes. And then the punches started flying, but University of South Florida just started throwing absolute uppercuts and haymakers, nothing more, nothing less than that. And North Texas couldn't stop that, and they really got rocked hard very quickly, and it just didn't stop. It's really amazing. 42 points in the second half alone to make it 63-36 on the scoreboard. Let's look at North Texas. Drew Westmaker, 30 of 46, 326 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. On the ground, Caleb Hawkins, 15 carries, 49 yards. Mackenzie McGill, 7 carries, 31 yards, and a touchdown. Miles Coleman, 7 carries, 101 yards, and a touchdown. Wyatt Young, 7 carries, 79 yards, and a rushing touchdown. Cameron Dorner, 5 receptions, 73 yards. And Trey Williams, a third, 2 receptions, 15 yards, and a touchdown. On the opposite end, the receiver, Chaz Neptune, I believe that's his name, had a throwing touchdown. Besides the full Byron Brown, 22 of 28, extremely accurate, efficient, deadly, 245, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. On the ground, 21 carries, 82 yards, and 2 touchdowns. The lifeblood of this offense. And he doesn't take as many hard hits as some of these other dual threat quarterbacks, and that's what makes him really good. All right. Now we look at the ground game. Chase Garnett, 6 carries, 74 yards. Alvin Isaac, 12 carries, 64 yards. Sam Franklin, 8 carries, 51 yards, and a touchdown. We look at the receiving, Jeremiah Koger, 4 receptions, 94 yards, 2 touchdowns. Keyshawn Singleton, 3 receptions, 54 yards, and a touchdown. Chaz Nimrod, I was right, Chaz Nimrod, 4 catches, 45 yards. And Jonathan Eccles, the 1-1-2-1, a catch for 2 yards and a touchdown on 1 attempt. I've stopped, unless it was a really big thing, I needed to point out, I don't even talk about the attempts thrown to him because that doesn't really tell the full story of what that receiver was going through or what the defense was. And I don't talk a lot about specific players on defense because ultimately, if it was a defensive battle, I would be saying it was a defensive battle. There wasn't a whole lot of super defensive battles in the first couple of games. It was just, we're at that point of the season where certain game plans are just going to be functionally just more consistently better, and some programs are going to be more, they're going to have a lot more chemistry and a lot more understanding of how they're supposed to run an efficient version of their playbook, and some of these guys have been doing it for years and years and years. Our last game before the end of the weekend was Washington and Rutgers, and it was a game. 38-19, Rutgers losing. I ain't gonna lie. You might be disillusioned with them leading by 3, 13-10 going in a half, that Rutgers had an opportunity. Unfortunately, we're still talking about Rutgers, and even if it weren't Washington, I'm still convinced that no matter who in the Big Ten you could be talking about, unless you're in the lower parts of the Big Ten, yeah, it's Rutgers. So we're going to Ethan Calamanis, 31 of 50, 386 yards, 2 touchdowns and an interception. You can't say he didn't try. He was out there balling. Antoine Raymond, 15 carries, 89 yards, 7 catches, 89 yards. Yeah. And a touchdown. So, see, there were ballers out there. Ian Strong, 7 carries, 124 yards. KJ Duff, 3 receptions, 59 yards, and a touchdown. Colin Weber, 5 receptions, 27 yards. And DT Sheffield, 6 6 catches for 68 yards. See, this was one of those defensive battles where the second half came out and Washington just said, I don't want to deal with you anymore, and kept them to 6 points in the third quarter, and nothing more, nothing less. We go over to Washington. Damon Williams, 21-27, 402 yards and 2 touchdowns. 13 for 136 and 2 touchdowns on the ground. Jonah Coleman, 14 carries, 44 yards and a touchdown. Desmond Roebuck, 4 catches, 108 yards. Denzel Boston, 5 receptions for 98 yards and 2 touchdowns. Raiden Vines Bright, 3 receptions, 50 yards. Omari Evans, 2 receptions, 45 yards. And Decker DeGraff, 2 receptions, 39 yards. So that was your pre-Saturday Week 7 slate. And I guess, like most times, for you guys, it might just be an instant. For me, it will be a couple seconds, really. I'm only going to back this up. I got to grab my other sheets because we moved on to an entirely another notebook for the beginning, or for the back half of Week 7 and into Week 8. So I guess I'll see you then. Bye.